Mastering doesn't have to be hard, and you shouldn't have to hire someone else to master your own music. In fact, once you master mastering, you should be able to do it in just like 15 to 20 minutes per song. And in this video, I'm going to walk through a simple pro mastering chain that you can use to instantly create pro sounding songs. Hi, I'm Regan Ram with Orpheus Audio Academy, and mastering was something that always used to intimidate me until I went to audio engineering school and realized it's really not as complicated as we want to make it sound. And so in this video, I'm going to try and give you the strategies behind mastering and really simplify it for you. So first off, what is mastering? Mastering is just where you're taking your mix and you're getting it up to commercial quality standards in terms of loudness and also frequency content. And so I'm going to show you a couple tools that can help you do this. So first off, metering is going to be huge here. And so some tools that I like to use for this are by iZotope. You don't have to use iZotope tools, but one I really like is Insight 2. So you can see loudness, peak, and LUFS. You can also see your stereo field, make sure you're not running into any phase issues. Another one I really like, this is kind of like if you're not, maybe using references, or even if you are using references, this is really great. And it's tonal balance control. You can upload a reference to this or just choose one of their targets, and it can kind of see the frequency ranges you want to shoot for. So this way, you're not going to be too far off of what other songs are in your genre when you go about creating your song. It shows you how much frequency content you want in each kind of range here. So these are two things that are great. So that in mind, now I'm going to walk through a really great plugin chain that you can use for mastering. But real quick, before I do that, when I was first getting started, I thought mastering would be like the silver bullet. My mixes didn't sound great, so I went to a friend of mine who's a music producer and had his own home studio. I'm like, hey, can you master my album? Because I thought that would make it magically sound good. Spoiler alert, it didn't. My songs did sound a bit better, but nowhere close to what they should have been because I didn't even know what compression was back then. I wasn't even using it on my tracks. So you want to make sure that you have good, high quality mixes first. And if you feel like your mixes are weak, then definitely grab my free producer pack in the description below. Not only does this have tons of samples, presets, templates, and more, but also comes with a bunch of great checklists, including a mixing checklist and a mixing system that you can easily follow to make sure you're producing pro quality mixes that don't really need much mastering. So, and you can do this even if you have, free or stock plugins. So if you're not super confident in your mixing, definitely grab that for free in the description below. All right. So when it comes to mastering, you want to start with the limiter first. And so what is a limiter? The limiter is going to set a peak limit that no sounds will go past while turning up the quieter sounds. So it's going to set a ceiling. No sounds can go past that, so you're not going to get any clipping. And then all the quieter sounds are going to be brought up louder. And this is where you get the loudness. And typically you want to shoot for between the -8 to -10 LUFS range. So I'm just going to use this brick wall limiter by IK Multimedia. I'll be using all IK Multimedia plugins for this tutorial, but you can use any plugins you want. And we're going to have like Insight up here. And so we're going to see what range this hits. Now this is a little quiet, so I'm going to just boost this up a tad. And so we kind of got our range here. So this is the input that we're boosting up. This is the out ceiling. Right now it's at -0.1. When I was in audio engineering school, typically we did 0.2. Now this is for when it's done to like going to be printed onto like CDs or physical. When working with streaming, to avoid clipping, a lot of people recommend going to -1 dB because I guess sometimes when you upload to these digital platforms, sometimes the top can get kind of shaved off. So streaming platforms and broadcast systems typically shoot for -1 dB. And so when it's getting encoded and reconstructed, sometimes you can get to overshoot and cause clipping So that's kind of a safe range right there. You're not going to be losing really too much volume either with that. And then another plugin I like to use is a clipper. I'm using the classic clipper by IK here. By the way, all these plugins come inside of IK Multimedia's mastering bundle, which you can grab in the description. I'll talk a little bit about that later, but it also comes with a really amazing course by the people behind Lurssen Mastering, who's mastered tons. They're kind of like the industry standard for mastering. All right, you can see just some of the things that they've mastered, right? Big, huge Hollywood movies, Netflix shows, and right, top artists as well, like Churches, one of my favorite bands. So the course is taught by Gavin Lurssen and Ruben Cohen. And so if you really want to learn mastering from the pros, then definitely consider grabbing IK Multimedia's Lurssen Mastering Bundle, because not only will you get all these plugins that I'm using in this video, but you'll also get their course, which goes into much more detail and depth on how to master music than I will in just this video. So clipping is really great because that can help you also get some more loudness and punch out of your tracks. So we have the limiter. The limiter is basically like a very strong compressor, which acts as a brick wall. That's why this limiter is actually called brick wall, to really stop peaks while turning up the quieter sounds. Then you have this clipper here. So the clipper simply will chop off the top of the wave. So whereas the limiter stops it and turns it down, the clipper is just going to chop off the waveform, clips it. So you're going to get some more distortion out of that, but it's going to be a more pleasant sounding distortion, which gives more energy versus like digital clipping. And so we're using a very hard clipping here. So it's going to really chop off the tops, but we're doing a very, very small amount. So only like half a dB. To me, it just adds more energy and life to everything, especially on the kick. I really feel like you hear the kick punch through a lot more there. So that's really fun. Then we're going to add some compression. So you can see all the dynamics controls is what we're leading with. And we're kind of going in reverse order as we're mastering this. You don't have to do that, but I'm doing it here. Definitely always start with the limiter on though, because you want to hear what the final volume is going to be as you're working with all your other controls, because that can trick your ears. If you're adding all these different plugins at a lower volume level, then suddenly you add the limiter and everything, you get a different picture of everything. So here's our compressor, and we're doing kind of like some glue compression here with the slow attack, fast release. We got a very small ratio, and we're just doing a few dBs of compression. And so we'll hear this now. Very, very subtle. Right, if we want to try to hear that more, I'll bring the threshold down. Then we'd have to bring up the makeup. So that's obviously way over compressed. You're getting a little bit of a pumping kind of a sound. But what this does do is it kind of just brings everything out of the speakers more. It brings it more forward. So we'll pull this down to about where it was. So I'm only doing like 1 to 2 dBs of compression there at a 2-to-1 ratio. And now you get some nice glue going on there again before and after. Actually, I'll use this button. Very, very subtle, but it all kind of compounds and builds up. And you don't really want to do a lot of crazy stuff when you're mastering anyway. So without the compressor and the clipper, I just feel like everything's hitting a little harder, and it's just a little bit more forward, closer to you kind of a sound. Now, this was something I learned from the Lurssen Mastering course that I'd never done before, but this is really interesting. And something that I found very useful is actually putting a de-esser on your mastering chain to help control those harsher frequencies. So you can see we've got a nice wide range here from close to 2K all the way up to the top. And we're going to do, you can see it's going to start turning down some of the harsh frequencies as they poke through. So that's a little too extreme. We don't want to be like noticeably turning stuff down just as things get a little too harsh. And you can hear that really muffles it, so we don't want to muffle it. And this is where definitely having a tonal balance control or a reference track can help, so you can know if you're on the right track. So our highs are already kind of low, so we might want to pull this back more. So that's nifty. And then another thing is, I also learned from the Lurssen Mastering course, is this little, what they call a mastering punch technique here on the low end. So you've got 30 hertz where you're going down basically half a dB. And then at 45 hertz, you're boosting by half a dB. And so this is just a really interesting trick to get a little bit more punch in that low end. Barely perceptible, and that's really where the skill of mastering comes in. You have to have really critical listening. And then finally, their kind of signature plugin, their Lurssen Mastering EQ. So you've got these different EQ ranges that are kind of calibrated to where they find like the sweet spots for mastering. And then they actually do really huge boosts is what they recommend, like 10, 10, 10. So I guess the reason you can get away with that is because you're feeding into all these other things, right? The de-esser here. So if you have too much harshness, that's going to get turned down. I got the compressor, the clipper as well. So hear what this sounds like now. I don't, it just sounds really good. I mean, you might want to tweak it for your specific song, but this is kind of the settings that they recommended. Might be getting a little bit high on the lows there, so maybe I want to just dial those back a bit. So then again, before and after. So before, I'm going to leave the limiter in so it's the same volume level. So we're comparing apples to apples. And I think When you compare the two, the After is way more rich, lively, punchy, and just full, and just I think sounds a whole lot better. And so again, if you want to use all these plugins and get the Lurssen Mastering course, then just use my affiliate link in the description below, or go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/Lurssen. And this is also very affordable, and I think it's a really awesome group of tools to have in your music production arsenal. So that's mastering. Now, if you want like a full deep dive, step-by-step training on how to mix your songs so that they sound mastered and there's not much you have to do even do at the mastering stage, then check out my video on the screen right now where I walk through kind of a proven formula for mixing your tracks so they sound professional. And this will also rapidly speed up your workflow. So see you over there.